Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. The rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. The great enemy of truth is often not the lie, deliberate, contrived, and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive, and unrealistic. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. We must use time as a tool, not as a couch. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose is that it is the path of surrender or submission. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. The problems of the world cannot possibly be solved by skeptics or cynics whose horizons are limited by the obvious realities. We need men who can dream of things that never were. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. We are not here to curse the darkness, but to light the candle that can guide us through that darkness to a safe and sane future. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. Too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. A nation that is afraid to let people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. The goal of education is the advancement of knowledge and the dissemination of truth. We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. Physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. Our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's future, and we are all mortal. The Chinese use 2 brush strokes to write the word crisis. One brush stroke stands for danger, the other for opportunity. In a crisis, be aware of the danger, but recognize the opportunity. We are tied to the ocean, and when we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch, we are going back from whence we came. I look forward to a great future for America, a future in which our country will match its military strength with our moral restraint. The ignorance of one voter in a democratic society impairs the security of all. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Mankind must put an end to war before war puts an end to mankind. A child miseducated is a child lost. The best road to progress is freedom's road. We have the power to make this the best generation of mankind in the history of the world, or to make it the last. Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. The courage of life is often a less dramatic spectacle than the courage of a final moment, but it is no less a magnificent mixture of triumph and tragedy. We are not afraid to entrust the American people with unpleasant facts, foreign ideas, alien philosophies, and competitive values. There are risks and costs to action, but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. The supreme reality of our time is the vulnerability of our planet. I believe in a president whose religious views are his own private affair. The unity of freedom has never relied on uniformity of opinion. Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. We prefer world law in the age of self-determination to world war in the age of mass extermination. When power leads man toward ignorance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. The greater our knowledge increases, the more our ignorance unfolds. In a time of domestic crisis, men of goodwill and generosity should be able to unite regardless of party or politics. The pay is good, and I can walk to work. I am not the Catholic candidate for president. I am the Democratic Party's candidate for president, who happens also to be Catholic. We stand today on the edge of a new frontier, the frontier of the 1960s, a frontier of unknown opportunities and perils, a frontier of unfulfilled hopes and threats.